demo, I have a playground sandbox here to mess around with. I am going to create a virtual machine running Windows 2022, and that's right here, virtual machines. And we're going to install a web server and show you the basic IIS web server up and running. So we're going to call this Web 1. I'm going to take all the defaults except for this. I want this to be Windows 2022. I'm looking for like this x64 Gen 2, but I need 2022 x64 Gen 2. So what we're going to do is go up here and go to product type. Let's see, publisher, image type. Publisher type is Microsoft. Okay. And image type, I'm going to select the x64 Gen 2. And down here, I'm going to select Windows Server 2022 x64 right there. Windows Server 2022 Data Center x64 Gen 2. And this is called Web 1. And I need to create a web admin account. Okay, and on the allowed ports, I'm going to go ahead and open up HTTP 80 right off the get-go. And I want to change my disk from an SSD to an HDD right there. And that's about all I need to do. So I'm going to do a review create. And go ahead, validation passed. Go ahead and create it. Okay, deployment is in progress. The next step, once the deployment is complete, is we're going to go and get the public IP of the server. We're going to create an RDP session down here. Okay. So what I'm doing is when I'm not actively working on something, I sit over here next to my work, and I just deploy these things. And I'm studying for the exam, and I got that scheduled. That's the key to any certification. You need to. Okay, so here it is right there. That's the public IP right there. And you just open up RDP, an RDP session. And if web admin was the username I used. And then, yes, I always click the checkbox. You don't have to, but that's what I do. I did this a few years ago with this certification, so I gotta renew the certification. I wish I would have done S3 or Amazon Web Services. Theirs last for 3 years. Mine only lasts for 1 year. So, but I'm kind of glad I'm going through this because I don't really work with Azure. I just work on servers. So this is a nice refresher for me. Okay, gotta wait for it to collect data. Once it collects data, you'll see stuff populating over here on the left. When it's done, then after that, I'm going to click Add Roles and Features. And we're going to, once that opens, we're going to go find Web Server, select that, install that. After it's installed, the IIS basic website should be up and running. We can use the same IP that we used for RDP 3389 port for port 80 over a web browser, HTTP protocol, and go to the website. Not on the server, but on the portal here. So it'll be this guy when it does come up, but right now there's nothing there. So okay, now we're ready to go. I'm just going to take all the defaults and then go down here and select web server, done, install. It'll as soon as this finishes, this will come up right here. You'll see this come up. So it's as easy as pie, man. I do a lot of different virtualization demos. I got Hyper-V down here. I've got this is VirtualBox right here. You can see I've got stuff from my, oh, that was the 70-410 exam from years back. Here's SharePoint database, the middle tier, and then the web front end. That's a cluster, a SQL cluster. That's a load balanced web server, load balanced and the storage server. That's from way back. That's back way back when I started SharePoint administration. I don't think the VM works anymore, but it's Windows 2003. CentOS. There's Linux, Alma Linux. There's an Active Directory instance that is needed to run these five things here. This here, there's a WDS server right here and a domain controller here. This actually is the base image for these two, I believe it's these two images here. So it's they're both using the base image, and then whatever roles you install, they get installed here. Let's go back and look. Yep, there it is. So there's the web server and other virtualization. That's the end of this, but I do a lot of Linux over here. Ubuntu, Alma Linux, Oracle database developer. So I got my fingers in a lot of different things. But yeah, that's the end of this. I hope you enjoyed it. And I think what I'll do next is I'll jump over to here. And when I go to IIS, you'll see a default website. IIS. There we go. What we'll do next is, here's the default website. That's what you're seeing there. What we're going to do next is we're going to create a self-signed certificate here. That way I can use HTTP 3, and after I generate that certificate and get that installed, it'll show up here when you go to bindings. I'm going to add a 443 binding. Hold on, there it is. And so that changes that port to 443, and there's only one backend IP. Then the server certificate will show up here, and then once that's selected, then you can get to the website, but you still need to add a port. And just a preview of that, you have to, for this web server here, you have to go and create a port rule, and that port rule will be for HTTPS. So that's 443. We're going to allow 443, but we'll do that in a different video. But that's just a preview of what will be.